It must be mad just talking about the Nazis all the time in Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. I kind of find I talk about Hitler and the Nazis so much that I notice it all the time as well. Like, I guarantee you, just start noticing now. I guarantee you, well, if you're listening to the podcast, you're already going to be hearing about Hitler, right? But just, right, every day, I guarantee you will hear about Hitler or the Nazis every day of your life. Because they just come up all the time. And as well, they're now the go-to, analogy for evil and for political evil and so on.
Yeah.
Something that I always try to do on my tours is kind of humanize them in a way, because I think people just want to think of these are evil monsters, and they're nothing like me at all.
Yeah.
You know, I think people want to think that, you know, I could never be one of them or do any of these things.
Yeah.
But the actual fact is, like, we're all as subject to the same flaws of reasoning and logic, and we all have the same emotions that we can get swept up in a moment and stuff like that. And I think it's more important, you know, if you want to prevent it, to kind of acknowledge those type of things rather than just like, well, they're bad and I don't have to think about any of that because I'm not one of the bad ones.
I mean, do you get people often on your tour questioning what you're saying?
It's the biggest pain in the arse is when you go to the location of Hitler's bunker. There's loads of people watch. There's a program called Hunting Hitler.
Right.
It's on, I think, the History Channel. It's on one of those fucking garbage channels that just rubbish all the time.
Yeah.
And the premise of it is Hitler might have escaped. Here's how it might have happened if it did. Right. And they've managed to get like 4 seasons out of this. And there's 20 episodes or something every season. So they're really squeezing everything. And a lot of it is conspiracy theories. There's people are like, I know, and what about the tunnel that leads from here down to the Tempelhof airport? Have you thought about that? And there's technically a tunnel in a sense, but it's like you have to walk for about 5 minutes from there. But then there's the underground tunnel, so for like the subway. And if you go down that far enough, then you can change over to another line. And then if you walk down that far enough, you'd get close enough to the Tempelhof airport. So that's kind of what they're thinking of.
And you get in your submarine, go to Argentina.
No, well, that's an airport, so you get from there, you get there. Just getting into a submarine, just sitting there and be like, let's hope they don't check.
They wouldn't even know.
Yeah, so it's there. From there, he flew to somewhere, and then from there, they went to Argentina. So that's what people say all the time. And there's like literally no evidence for any of this. It's all, and here's how it could have happened.
Yeah, and even
didn't
some FBI papers come out a few years ago, and it was basically just someone saying, like, it was just like a report of someone saying they saw a man arriving in a submarine or something.
Yeah, there's like the FBI took the question of him being alive fairly seriously, and J. Edgar Hoover was kind of obsessed with it, and they actually offered American citizenship to anyone who would come forward with information about the whereabouts of Hitler. And then you had all these chancers coming up and saying, like, I saw Hitler at the supermarket, or I had dinner with him last week, and things like that, to get American citizenship. Right. So all those files, the FBI files, are all declassified now, and you can go onto the FBI's website and just like read them, and anyone can do that, and they all conclude that there's basically like no evidence that any of this is happening, or that you know, there's nothing to it. But annoyingly, an article went viral there a couple of years ago online about these FBI files, but the headline that they put in it was FBI files prove that Hitler escaped and went to South America, which it fucking, and then loads of people were sharing it and saying, what if there's something to this? And even in the article, it actually links to the files, actual files on the FBI website that say the opposite of what the article is saying.